San Francisco-based startup Orchid Health screens embryos for thousands of potential future illnesses. I want to read that again. Thousands of potential future illness. Potential, reports the Washington Post, calling it the first company to say it can sequence an embryo's entire genome of 3 billion base pairs. It uses as few as 5 cells from an embryo to test for more than 1,200 of these uncommon single-gene-derived or monogenic conditions. The company also applies custom-built algorithms to produce what are known as polygenic risk scores, which are designed to measure a future child's genetic propensity for developing complex ailments later in life, such as bipolar disorder, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, obesity, and schizophrenia. Orchid founder Siddiqui said in a tweet he is ushering in a generation that gets to be genetically blessed and avoid disease. Right now, at $2,500 per embryo screening on top of the average $20,000 for a single cycle of IVF, Siddiqui's social network in Silicon Valley, another tech hub, is an ideal target market. Yet, several genetic scientists told the Post they doubt Orchid's core claim that it can accurately sequence an entire human genome from just 5 cells collected from an early-stage embryo, enabling it to see many more single and multiple gene-derived disorders than other methods have. Experts have struggled to extract accurate genetic information from small embryonic samples, says Svetlana Yatsenko, a Stanford University pathology professor who specializes in clinical and research genetics. Genetic tests that use saliva or blood samples typically collect hundreds of thousands of cells, not just a few. For its vastly smaller samples, Orchid uses a process called amplification, which creates copies of the DNA retrieved from the embryo. This is the same thing, by the way. If you want to do your research, I want you to go have a look at how they determine when they stick the Q-tip up your nose, whether you have the coffee cough. And I want you to look up amplification rates as compared to what is typically considered scientifically accepted amplification rates of genetic material. This is essentially the same thing. That process, Yutsenko said, can introduce major inaccuracies. You're making many mistakes in the amplification, she said, rendering it problematic to declare any embryo free of a particular disease or positive from one. Yes, that same thing, the Q-tip up the nose for the coffee cough, back in a very recent time in history, caused a bunch of false positives and also a bunch of false negatives. There's a reason, for example, why the flu mysteriously disappeared for a while. Just saying, all you have to do is go look up the scientific research based on amplification of genetic material, and then go look at how they were detecting a particular in recent times, and how these people with a eugenics technocratic idea in Silicon Valley are doing their amplification, to see just how absolutely insane and unscientific this process is. Numerous fertility doctors and scientists also told the Post that they have serious reservations about screening embryos through polygenic risk scoring, especially if the outcome is something like, oh, maybe when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70, you might maybe have a propensity towards a particular disease, so let's just end your life before it even begins. This is technocratic eugenics in Silicon